everyone, Big Pauly back for a brand new video and a brand new movie review series. Yes, I'm going to be watching all 13 Star Trek films, right from the motion picture all the way through to Star Trek Beyond. We're going to talk about them, we're going to discuss the ships, the plots, the cast, Spock's ears, the tunic pulling, and of course don't forget Spot the cat. Yes, so let us begin right from the very beginning, going back to the 70s with Star Trek the motion picture. Okay, so Star Trek the motion picture. What can I say about Star Trek the motion picture? Well, the original Star Trek lasted only 3 seasons, from 1966 to 1969, before it was cancelled. Fans would then have to wait an entire decade before they would be given a Star Trek feature film. And the only reason that happened was because in that decade, fandom grew, conventions grew, attendance. It showed that Star Trek was not dead, even though it was cancelled, and that there was an ever-increasing fandom. And eventually the studios gave in and decided, let's make a motion picture. So the film itself is very different in tone from films that came later. For the notable reason and the absence of industrial light and magic, which wouldn't join the party until the Wrath of Khan. The special effects are pretty good. They're very vibrant and very futuristic Tronish type of effects. Lots of computer graphics and stuff like that. The music is absolutely incredible. Jerry Goldsmith created that theme tune for Star Trek, the motion picture, which of course would go on to become the iconic tune from Star Trek The Next Generation, and is just as memorable as Superman and Star Wars. So what is Star Trek the motion picture about? It's basically about this huge mechanical machine and cloud and stuff that's on a direct course for Earth, and it basically zaps and destroys anything in its path, including Klingons. But I'm not surprised, because they probably were confused, because Klingons didn't look like the Klingons from the 60s show, so they were probably thinking, that's not a Klingon, get rid of it. And a little bit of trivia, one of the Klingons on board the ship is actually played by Mark Lenard. For Star Trek fans, know him as Sarek, Spock's father. But yeah, this big, huge mechanical thing is coming towards Earth. The Enterprise has to warp out, go out and find it, and try and find out what it wants or destroy it. This giant machine is sending signals out, asking questions. Humans are not responding. In the end, it turns out that this massive machine is powered by a tiny, whiny little piece of machinery called Vija, yes, which was launched from Earth 300 years ago, yes. And basically, it's coming home because it wants to find its mummy and daddy. That's right, it's gathered all the data, going around the universe, picking up all this data and other machinery, incorporating it into itself, so it's very Borgish. And it wants to transmit all its data back to its creator, back at Earth. And it's confused as to why no one is responding to its transmissions. So there's some really nice iconic moments in Star Trek the motion picture, including the one that always brings a tear to my eye every time. Incredibly emotional. It's Scotty and Kirk's flyby of the Enterprise. And that whole sequence, for any Star Trek fan, just puts a lump in your throat. It's just such a beautiful scene. And the Enterprise itself has had a major refit from the original series. It looks very different inside. It's grander. The colour scheme has changed to reflect the 70s. So gone are the yellows, the bright yellows, the reds, the blues, and all that kind of stuff. And now we've got kind of lots of greys and browns, very 70s. And also the iconic uniforms haven't come in yet until Wrath of Khan. So we're missing the beautiful red tunic. And we are basically stuck with some pyjamas. So it looks all very clinical and all very clean. So we have all the cast back. We have all William Shatner's back, Leonard Nimoy, George Takei, James Doohan, Walter Koenig, Nichelle Nichols. All of them have come back for this first adventure for Star Trek at the movies. We've also got the inclusion of Persis Khambatta, an Indian actress and Miss India contestant, playing Lieutenant Ilea, and also Stephen Collins as Captain Decker, who feels a little bit piffed at the fact that Kirk has been given back the Enterprise and basically demoted poor old Decker down out of the captain's chair to just pressing a couple of buttons and saying, "Yes, sir." So it's not a big, bold action adventure kind of blow this up, blow that up, like we got in later Star Trek films. This is more of a thinking man's Star Trek film, kind of Star Trek's version of 2001. It's not a bad film for a first attempt, and it did go on to make bucks at the box office, so it never flopped. And the cast would go on to do other things in between all the Star Trek films. So William Shatner would go on to do T.J. Hooker. Walter Koenig will go on to do Babylon 5. George Takei would eventually go on and do every Star Trek convention there ever is. And Stephen Collins will go on to do the classic series Tales of the Gold Monkey, and a little bit of kiddie fiddling as well. So Star Trek the Motion Picture isn't as exciting as some of the Star Trek films that come later, but it is still a good entry. It's a good first attempt, and there are some exciting scenes and some great character moments that we've loved, you know, since the original Star Trek shows. The picture quality on the Blu-ray is first rate, especially the interior scenes on board the Enterprise, on the bridge. They're just so clean. It's the best that it's ever looked. Some of the exterior shots of the mechanical, you know, the machine cloud is a bit distorted and muffled because of the special effects for the time that it was created. And some of the shots of some of the Klingon ships as well are very grainy and jumbled and kind of like jumpy. But the interior shots are absolutely beautiful. The sound is Dolby True HD 7.1. It does kind of give you a Dolby Atmos effect. You've got lots of subwoofer use for the engines of the Enterprise, the sounds of Vija, the machine. There's also lots of surround use when they're flying through this machine, and kind of lightning and explosions behind you, and it just gives you a whole immersive feel all the way around it. So that's my review of Star Trek the Motion Picture. We've got 12 more films to come. The next one will be Star Trek the Wrath of Khan, which will be the director's cut. But for Star Trek the Motion Picture, how would I rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? I would rate Star Trek the Motion Picture 7 photon torpedoes out of 10. Yes, it may not be the best Star Trek film. It's still a good Star Trek film, but there are better to come. And believe it, there are actually worse to come as well. So I hope you enjoyed this review of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future videos and more Star Trek reviews. and comment and share. Stick down in the comments. Do you like Star Trek the Motion Picture? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? What format have you got it on? As I say, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. And until next time, live long and prosper.